This is the best sport in the world. In case anyone had any sort of doubt, this is the best sport in the world. Chelsea 3, PSG 0. Wow. Wow. What did I just watch? If you had told me this morning that I'd be waking up to Chelsea outsmarting PSG in every single metric today, going into halftime 3-0 up, basically playing a completely flawless game throughout the 90 against the champions of Europe, I would have told you you're a liar. What a performance, Chelsea. What a performance. Chelsea today have exposed every single flaw of PSG that we didn't know existed. And just when we were about to compare this PSG side to the great Champions League winning teams like Barca in 2011, Real Madrid 16-17, City 22-23, they go out and get exposed like that. Absolutely crazy. Chelsea today are the first club in history to win all club tournaments. And what a way to do it in style. They have ripped apart the champions of Europe in style today. Now, where the hell do I even start with Chelsea? I'm going to get to PSG in a bit. I want to give Chelsea their flowers, though, because today's performance really just not put them on the map. I think they were on the map before, but really just made a statement to the world that they are here to play football. They are here to silence the doubters. They are here to, bring the game to you. And today they did it in such a fashionable way. I think Chelsea, in my opinion, in the last, year or two, maybe in the last calendar year, they have been the most adaptable and improved side in world football in terms of how they were in the beginning of the Premier League season when they were struggling against mid-table clubs and relegation teams, to being able to adapt mentally to the big games like this and bring the game to them and frustrate the opponent the way they want to play. I think Chelsea have really shown a different side to their game. I think they have. I think that has to come down to Maresca's tactical brilliance, because when you take a look at how Maresca has lined up his team in terms of playing players out of their normal position, Reece James in midfield, Cole Palmer on the right, Enzo as a cam, you could tell that it wasn't really for them. It's more so how they can function as a team better with having them play out of position. He basically saw the way Enrique would use his players and how he'd interchange them, like I said in the last video. Maresca looked at that today and he said, yeah, I can do the same. I have players that can do the same thing. And Palmer and Gusto, for example, today literally proved that right. And today was a prime example of that. The amount of times Robert Sanchez had picked up the ball, sent the ball out wide to Malo Gusto, who was flying down the wing 90% of the game today, to give Nuno Mendes some problems. Because Nuno Mendes wasn't sure whether he should mark Malo Gusto or Cole Palmer. Because you'd often find that Cole Palmer was sort of tucking in as that second 10 next to Enzo. And that's literally how the first goal happened today. Nuno Mendes makes a mess of a long ball, Gusto gets in behind, and then Gusto obviously tries to shoot, but Cole Palmer ends up getting the ball at the edge of the box. And when I said that in order to beat PSG, you need to do something special. Your team needs to do something special in order to get over the line against PSG. And what's more special than Cole Palmer? This guy today, wow. This guy today was absolutely amazing. He is a baller. Cole Palmer is a baller. But this is the standard that Cole Palmer has kind of shown for Chelsea in the big games. He's there for Chelsea 90% of the time. 8 out of 10 times at least, he's always there. And it's sort of testament as to why he actually came to Chelsea in the first place. He wasn't getting game time at City. He comes into Chelsea, revolutionizes their attack, adds the creative flair. He kind of has this free roaming role, whether he wants to play in the right, in the middle. Nowadays, we don't even know where he's going to play, because I feel like Maresca's just set up 11 monsters on the pitch to kind of just bring the game to you. And it just shows his mentality as a player. To come to a struggling team like Chelsea in the beginning, when he first came, now winning a European trophy and the Club World Cup in the space of a month and a half. Honestly, what else can you do but just clap? Because Cole Palmer is unbelievable. Is there any doubt when Cole Palmer picks the ball at the edge of the box and slots it past Donnarumma twice? He had the same finish today twice. And PSG just couldn't handle him. They didn't know how to mark him. His movements were kind of off course. They were unfamiliar with the way he was moving. And that's exactly why he's such a special player, because not many 10s, not many attacking midfielders can do what Cole Palmer did today. Now, there's another person I really want to talk about. In my opinion, I think he's been one of the most consistent defensive midfielders all season, and that's Moises Caicedo. This guy is a monster. This guy is an absolute monster. I think Moises Caicedo today covered every blade of grass there was today on the pitch. I don't think I can name any other midfielder that walks away out of a game with consistent 8 out of 10s. At least 7 or 8 out of 10s every single game. He is a general to that midfield. Obviously, he had his critics when first coming into Chelsea. He's 120 million. First couple games in a Chelsea shirt weren't that great. He was looking all over the place. This performance today just silenced all the haters. And I think that the way that Maresca kind of used his physical presence along with Reece James's physical presence, but also their IQs in terms of how to deal with situations, compact areas. Because you saw today, Chelsea today compacted PSG space in the middle. And Moises Caicedo just frustrated that PSG midfield today. They couldn't do anything. They couldn't create. They couldn't move the ball forward correctly, because as soon as Vitinha or João Neves or Fabio Ruiz picked the ball, there was always Reece James or Moises Caicedo. They were on you like wasps today. Chelsea basically PSG'd PSG today, if that makes sense. They brought the game to them today. They really got up their spine, every single duel, every single ball, from a physical aspect, from a mental aspect. They brought the game to PSG today, and that's why they were deserved winners of this tournament. And it's almost like every time I praise a team, they go out the next game and just do a complete 180 of what I said about them the game before. When I praised Real Madrid against Dortmund, they went out against PSG and just got absolutely battered. And in that same game, I praised PSG, and today they just got exposed by Chelsea. And exposed is low-key an understatement, because the way Chelsea were just sort of unified today, they had a task to do and they did it seamlessly, was just absolutely phenomenal to watch. Now, another player who I thought had a really good game today was Joao Pedro. Now, I know he scored today, obviously. He scored a very good goal. Cole Palmer plays it in behind. Joao Pedro dinks it over Donnarumma to make it 3-0 before halftime. I thought he played really well, even though he came off in the 67th minute or 65th minute or something like that. Now, Joao Pedro didn't really have a lot of chances today, but something he did really well was that he was a nuisance to that back line. This guy would just make so many runs in behind. He'd confuse the PSG defense because they didn't know what to do with him. The way he'd drop in, collect the ball, receive it, play it out wide, move his body. And it kind of shows why Maresca and why Chelsea have signed this type of player, because he offers something so different to your Nico Jackson, to your Liam Delap. And I think that there's just so much more of him to come for Chelsea, because I think that for a player who's so technically gifted in Joao Pedro, him, Cole Palmer, the likes of Neto, Gittins, the rest of the Chelsea attack, having Joao Pedro in the attack just kind of adds that sense of unpredictability, because half the time you don't really know what he's going to do, and he's such a smart player. So honestly, fair play to Joao Pedro. He's added a spark to that Chelsea attack. Now let's talk about PSG. PSG today surprised us all, and I think that PSG themselves were surprised by the way they were playing, but also the way the opponent was playing today. Today we saw a new side of them, not in terms of like flaws, but today we saw a new side of them in terms of how they reacted to being down, how they reacted to sort of being on the losing side. The amount of times Chelsea, and they were very smart about it to be fair, would just kind of get inside their head in terms of like what they'd say to certain players after a foul, the aftermath of certain like situations on the pitch. PSG today got rattled. They got absolutely rattled by Chelsea today from a mental point of view, because I think the João Neves red card towards the last 10 minutes of the game really kind of set an example of what Chelsea's plan was today. They got inside their head. They didn't allow them to play the game they wanted to. They frustrated them, similar to how Bayern frustrated them in the quarterfinal. They just simply couldn't get their act together today. PSG today looked like PSG 2 years ago. Let's be honest. They didn't have their best game today. And when we're talking about big teams, when we're talking about like state-of-the-art European teams, like I said, like the Madrid 16-17, like the Barca 2011, like Man City in 22-23, something that differentiates them and PSG today was the mental aspect. They simply couldn't cope mentally with the way Chelsea were playing. And it frustrated them a lot. You could kind of see the anger on the pitch, the way the fights were kind of breaking out. It wasn't a good sight to see. It's a bad look for PSG, and it's a bad look for Enrique, because we all saw what Enrique did after the game too. I also think that PSG did lack defensive composure today. We saw that Pacho, obviously having that red card suspension, really kind of had an effect on that backline today in terms of how they couldn't really deal with Chelsea physically. I think that Delap coming on kind of also frustrated that backline, because again, Chelsea would just send the ball so long, but PSG couldn't deal with it because of Chelsea's physical intelligence. And that kind of just sums up PSG's game today. I think the emotions and frustrations got the better of them, and Chelsea took advantage of that and simply just ripped apart the champions. That's the way I looked at it today. So what does this mean for Chelsea now? What does this mean for Chelsea? That's the thing I'm thinking about at the moment. I think every single Premier League team should look at this performance, look at the way Chelsea exposed the champions of Europe today, and they should head into that Premier League season and treat them like the Cities, like the Arsenals, like the Liverpools, because this is where Chelsea belong. This is the Chelsea that we have been missing for the last 10 years. This is the Chelsea that we saw in 2021 and in 2012 when they won the Champions League. Back to where they belong, and fair enough, they have absolutely fully deserved it today. So I'm going to wrap it up there. I think that I've kind of said what I need to say about Chelsea. They've played a fantastic game, as I said, and I think that Maresca should also be given his flowers for his tactical brilliance over Enrique today. And yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Leave a like, subscribe. All my socials are in the description below, so check them out, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.